it? Should we just be patient? Let's give it some time. Let's come back to this a few days later and see what the committee has to say.
Has to be. There are no two ways about it. But having said that, we have to applaud the Supreme Court with the kind of conduct they have come with, the kind of transparency they have brought in the entire issue by bringing everything online, bringing all the videos out. So this
I
has
agree.
to be
Unprecedented. I agree. The right thing to do, no doubt.
And because what is very important is this is the most important institution of our country, and the kind of understanding we all were having that this is going to be a cover up and everything. With this, the Collegium, the Chief Justice have made it very clear. Everyone needs to know what the evidences are. Everyone needs to know what the facts are, and they brought it everything. They brought everything in open, so I can see it. You can see it. The entire country is seeing it, and more importantly, the justice system has to be protected in a way that trust on an institution like the judges, the judiciary, the Supreme Court, and the high courts have to be there. If we don't have that system there, I think democracy itself will be a failed democracy.
Okay, but Manasvi, you and I sit, and because you talk about politics as well as which is what my day job is as well. Okay, so I'm used to it. I'm also in the public domain, so I'm used to it. Somebody will say Bhakt and Bikawa and Godi this and Godi that. I keep asking, show me in my bank statement where I've been bought out. But we're used to these kind of charges. Now we have to shield at the same time honest judges. Okay, from tomorrow, any petitioner who doesn't like the judgment to say कि oh ये तो सब बिके हुए हैं and hence proved I have this video. So how do we do it? How do we not throw the baby out with the bathwater? How do we solve that conundrum?
I think this particular thing which has happened has actually shaken all of us up, and now is the time to create a very good code of ethics for our judiciary. Also, a very important annual update on the assets of them and their families has to be done. A complete transparent system has to be established. Now is the time. We have touch-based everything. We have touch-based politicians, the babus, the everything. The only thing which has not been touch-based is the judiciary. Now is the time for actual reforms on judiciary to take place.
Manasvi, from your experience in observing politics, does that actually happen? Do you really believe the affidavits politicians file? Because I'm told that the biggest politicians of the country, they don't even own a car. They have a 5 lakh rupee fixed deposit, couple of mutual funds. So does that actually function? Does that actually work, or does that actually help?
And 80% of them are farmers. So we know this is there, but we also know that we have the right to question. We also know that is not true. We also know that there has to be some kind of transparent system. We know this is an open secret wherein what has been filed in affidavit and what is the reality. We all know that. But I think in moving forward, with the kind of questions you are asking, questions I am asking, question everyone in the panel is asking, this is going to lead towards transparency. I think this particular case, I feel it's a blessing in disguise for our country, because this will take our country to the next level in judiciary. The reforms which were required and judiciary was not actually accepting those reforms have to come down on that and create a very robust system. And with this, I have to give this to the Supreme Court, the Collegium, the Chief Justice, by bringing everything transparently on the website. So it is open for everyone to judge on what is the conduct, and that's a congratulatory thing from the justice system.
Yeah,
I think this we have to give it to them.
There's no doubt about it. It's written at the top of my screen. Right call. Okay, that was the right thing to do, because on Friday, the only thing I could say was that the only way you fight misinformation is with correct information. Okay, there is no other. If you think that people are going to in their drawing rooms are going to stop speculating, or on social media will stop talking about it, that's a fool's paradise. People will keep talking about it. You have to give them, this is the fact on the ground, this is the alacrity with which we have taken the seriousness, and it shows the document that has been taken seriously. Okay, very rapidly the communication has happened, and very rapidly the registrar has been sent. But Manasvi, there is an issue in this, and the issue is that the first point of information was not any official system. The first point of information was actually a media report. And we are looking that something happened on the 15th or the 14th, and the highest judicial officers of the land were aware of it, and until the media actually reported it, should it have just been released there and then?
Yes, Rishabh, no doubts about. That's also a factual aspect. It happened on 14th, and we were silent till the last 2 days before this was brought up by the media. But even after that, if media brought it up, it's a great thing. Media is the fourth pillar of our democracy. They did what was right. And after that, how did the courts react? They reacted in a positive way. I have to give them that. And I also have to question what you are questioning. That is right. Why were they silent? This also needs to be answered. And further to that, that this investigation, this inquiry, this commission has to work in a timely manner. It has to be on a right time, because this case needs to be an open judicial case wherein everyone would have their views. The Supreme Court has to come down heavily on either ways. If Justice Verma is wrong, he has to be properly treated with that, and there has to be impeachment proceedings in the parliament if he is proven guilty. If not, if Lutyens Delhi, with heavily guarded Lutyens Delhi, can anyone, Tom, Dick, Harry can enter the Lutyens Delhi bungalows and do this kind of stuff? This has to be properly investigated, and this is bringing lots of questions. And either way, either kuha udhar khai ki hi situation. And this
last quick question, Manasvi, and it's a very genuine issue, because the Supreme Court and other courts do not have, for good reason in the past, but they do not have a public facing mechanism other than a website. Okay, they don't have a social media team who can counter rumors. Okay, they don't have a spokesperson. They don't have a press department that can issue a press release per se readily. Okay, they don't have a system in place. So they have a website in which we got a press note, but does a system, is it required for an emergency like this? Because you need to fight disinformation, because for 2 days, honestly, we couldn't even know whether the judge has been transferred or not, whether it was a consideration of a transfer or not a consideration. Then somebody reacted, no, we are not a dumping ground in Allahabad. So it is creating confusion, which we don't want. Now, we have a role in the media to calm down and do it step by step in a logical manner. But does the court require an emergency mechanism for very rare occurrences like this?
100%. The courts should have a communication department which communicates information, vital information. They does not need a social media account. They don't need followers. They don't need social media presence, but they need a communication department which counters misinformation on the part of judicial system. Such things like this, that it has been thrown to Allahabad, we are not dustbins and everything. These informations had to be countered immediately, and before that, such information, before it could grow to that level, it should be properly communicated. I think a proper module has to be made from Supreme Court side and all the other courts of our country, where communication is properly given to the media handles and the political parties. That's it. No social media is required, because they don't need any followers and don't need
that makes
stuff.
Sense.
But proper communication is required.
Okay,
yes.
that makes sense. That makes reason.